Stop eating this food at dinner. It hurts your legs and slowly destroys your kidneys. Have you ever gone to bed feeling like your legs just won't settle down? Maybe there's a quiet heaviness, a faint cramp behind your knee, or a strange tingling in your calves. You might shift positions, stretch, even get up to walk around, hoping for relief. And when sleep finally comes, it feels shallow, like your body is trying to tell you something, but you're not sure what. For many of my patients over the age of 60, these nighttime discomforts become a routine. They often chalk it up to just getting older. But over the years, I've learned that age isn't the whole story. Sometimes, the real culprit is what's on the dinner plate, those familiar foods we think are healthy, comforting, or harmless. Tonight, I want us to gently explore together how some common evening meals, salads, soups, a banana, even a beloved stir-fry might be quietly putting strain on your kidneys and legs, not to scare you, but to help you feel lighter, more rested and at peace. So make yourself comfortable, and let's walk through this together. As always, I'm here with you not just as a doctor, but as someone who cares deeply about how you feel. Part 1. Tomatoes, the vibrant fruit that may be stirring restless legs. There's something comforting about tomatoes, whether it's the warmth of a tomato soup, the brightness of a salad, or a simple plate of pasta with marinara. Many of us reach for tomatoes without a second thought. After all, they're rich in antioxidants, full of flavor, and carry that wholesome image we've trusted for decades. But sometimes, even the healthiest foods have hidden effects, especially when eaten at the wrong time of day. Let me tell you about Mr. Howard, one of my longtime patients. He's 71, active, eats well, and loves his garden-grown tomatoes. He would often enjoy a fresh caprese salad or a bowl of tomato-based soup with dinner, but he also complained about waking up several times each night with cramps in his calves and swelling in his feet. For years, he thought it was just poor circulation or age, but it wasn't until we looked at his potassium intake that the picture started to shift. You see, tomatoes are naturally high in potassium, a vital mineral that helps with muscle contraction and heart rhythm. But here's the thing: as we age, our kidneys become less efficient at filtering out excess potassium. And when this mineral builds up in the bloodstream, it can lead to muscle cramps, fatigue, and even irregular heartbeats, especially at night, when our metabolism slows down. Tomatoes are also quite acidic, which can irritate the stomach lining. Many of my patients who enjoy tomato-based dishes for dinner report experiencing acid reflux, bloating, or restlessness when lying down afterward. It's a discomfort that sneaks into the night and disrupts the healing power of sleep. And then there's the issue of fluid retention. In some older adults, tomatoes can contribute to mild water retention, especially when paired with salty ingredients or consumed in larger portions. This fluid tends to settle in the lower legs and feet, adding to that familiar heaviness at bedtime. Now, this doesn't mean tomatoes are bad, not at all, and they're still a nutritious part of a balanced diet. But timing matters. I often suggest my patients enjoy their tomatoes at lunch, when the body is more active and better equipped to process minerals. Dinner, instead, should be soothing, easier on the kidneys, muscles, and digestion. Food isn't just fuel, it's also rhythm. And when we learn to eat in harmony with our body's needs, we often find that restful nights and lighter legs begin to return quietly, gently, like an old friend we'd almost forgotten. Part 2. Potatoes, the comfort food that may be disrupting your sleep. For many of us, potatoes are more than just food, they're a memory, a symbol of home, mashed with butter on Thanksgiving, roasted alongside Sunday meatloaf, a baked potato to soothe the soul after a long day. And for folks in their golden years, these rituals often remain on the dinner table, bringing familiarity and warmth. But over time, I've noticed something in my patients who enjoy potatoes regularly in the evening. They often complain of restless legs, nighttime cramps, or waking up feeling groggy and heavy, not just tired, but as if their legs have run a marathon in their sleep. Let me explain why. Potatoes are high in starch, which breaks down into glucose sugar. In simpler terms, when we eat a large starchy meal late in the day, our blood sugar can spike, followed by a rapid dip during the night. This blood sugar swing often triggers muscle cramps, restlessness, or even sudden awakenings. And if someone is already managing diabetes or prediabetes, which many of my older patients are, the effect can be more pronounced. But the story doesn't stop there. Like tomatoes, potatoes are rich in potassium. While this is essential for muscle and nerve function, excess potassium can become problematic for older adults, especially those whose kidneys are slowing down. If the kidneys can't properly filter out the surplus, it may lead to fatigue, cramps, or heart rhythm changes. And again, this often shows up during the quiet hours of the night. Mrs. I. Darlene, a 75-year-old woman I've treated for several years, used to end every evening with a big serving of buttery mashed potatoes. She loved the comfort of it. But she also struggled with swelling in her ankles and painful cramps in her thighs. When we adjusted her dinner, moving the potatoes to lunch and replacing her evening meal with roasted vegetables and quinoa, her symptoms improved significantly within a week. Another thing we can't ignore is what often comes with potatoes. They're frequently paired with salt, butter, sour cream, or cheese, all of which raise sodium and saturated fat levels. This adds stress not just to your kidneys, but to your entire cardiovascular system. The solution isn't to ban potatoes, it's to reconsider the timing and preparation. Try enjoying them at midday, and choose lighter cooking methods like boiling or baking with herbs and olive oil. If you do indulge at dinner, pair them with fiber-rich greens and limit portion size. Small changes can make big differences. Sometimes the path to deeper sleep and lighter legs begins with rethinking a humble root vegetable we've loved all our lives. Part 3. Spinach. The green giant that could be straining your kidneys. If I had a nickel for every time a patient told me, "But doctor, I'm eating healthy. I had a spinach salad for dinner," I'd have a drawer full by now. And to be fair, spinach has earned its reputation. It's packed with iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamins A and C. It's low in calories, high in fiber, and often the poster child for clean eating. And it's a gentle but even good things can be too much, especially when they show up on your dinner plate late in the day. Spinach contains oxalates, a group of natural compounds that, in small amounts, don't do much harm. But when consumed regularly or in large portions, especially at night, they can bind to calcium in the gut, making it harder for the body to absorb. Over time, this can affect muscle function, contributing to twitching, tightness, or cramps, particularly in the legs. Let me share the story of Mr. Raymond, 69, who loved sautéing spinach with garlic and olive oil as a nightly side. He took pride in his healthy choices, but he also kept waking up at 2 or 3 massaging his calves or shifting in bed to ease a nagging ache. We eventually traced the culprit back to his beloved greens. Not because spinach is bad, but because his kidneys were quietly struggling to process the high oxalate and potassium load that came with eating it so late. You see, spinach is also high in potassium, and just like with tomatoes and potatoes, excess potassium can accumulate overnight, especially if your kidneys aren't functioning at full strength. Add to that the common seasoning habits. Many of us cook spinach with soy sauce, salt, or broth powders, and you're layering on sodium, which contributes to fluid retention and that uncomfortable leg heaviness some folks feel by bedtime. So what's the takeaway? Spinach is still a great food, but it's all about when and how you enjoy it. I encourage my patients to eat it at lunch, when the digestive and renal systems are more active. And instead of eating it raw, try light steaming or sautéing, which can reduce oxalate levels and make nutrients more absorbable. And as always, hydration is key. When you're including spinach regularly in your meals, Be sure to drink water throughout the day, not all at once at night, so your kidneys can do their work gently without being overwhelmed. Even the noblest foods require respect, and your body, especially in the evening, needs simplicity, not strain. Part 4. Bananas, the sweet culprit behind tired, twitchy legs. Bananas are one of those foods we all seem to trust. They're soft, easy to digest, and naturally sweet. No peeling, chopping, or cooking required. Many of my older patients tell me, "Doctor, I just have a banana after dinner. It helps me relax." And I understand why. Bananas feel like comfort in fruit form, but every now and then we discover that comfort can have a quiet cost. Let me tell you about Ms. Bernice, a 72-year-old woman with a gentle spirit and a sweet tooth for fruit. Her nightly ritual included a banana with chamomile tea, yet for months she complained of unexplained fatigue, leg cramps, and this odd sensation she described as "my legs feel too heavy to belong to me." At first, we checked her circulation, medications, even her sleep habits. But when we looked at her potassium intake, things began to make sense. Bananas are rich in potassium, and while that's usually a good thing, it helps regulate muscle function, nerve signals, and heart rhythm. There's a limit, especially for older adults, where kidney function naturally slows, making it harder to excrete excess potassium. Eating a banana late at night can lead to potassium buildup, and that buildup often shows up as muscle cramps, restless legs, or even irregular heartbeats while we sleep. But there's more. Bananas also contain magnesium and tryptophan, which can encourage muscle relaxation. Sounds like a sleep aid, right? Sometimes it is. But in older adults, this combination may overly relax blood vessels and muscles, causing circulatory sluggishness and that strange leg heaviness or twitching sensation during the night. And we mustn't forget the natural sugars in bananas, mostly fructose. While not harmful in small amounts, having a banana close to bedtime can give your blood sugar a small boost, followed by a crash a few hours later. This can subtly disrupt sleep or even contribute to nighttime awakenings with a racing heart or anxious feeling. So what's a better way to enjoy bananas? Don't give them up, they're still a valuable fruit, but consider having them at breakfast or as a mid-morning snack when your kidneys and metabolism are more active. If you're managing blood pressure, diabetes, or early kidney concerns, even small shifts in timing can bring big improvements. And if you're seeking a bedtime fruit, try a few blueberries or a small apple slice. They're gentler on your body in the late hours and less likely to interfere with your sleep or kidney workload. Sometimes, good health isn't about removing a food, it's about giving it a better time to shine. Part 5. White radish, a cleanse that may be too much at night. There's something quiet and humble about white radish, also known as daikon. It's crisp, slightly peppery, and has been used in traditional dishes for generations, especially in soups and stews. Many seniors I speak with see it as a cleansing root, something that helps with digestion and balance. And they're not wrong. White radish is naturally low in calories, high in fiber, and has mild diuretic properties, meaning it encourages your body to release excess water and sodium. During the day, this can be a gentle way to support your kidneys and regulate blood pressure. But when daikon shows up too late on the dinner table, it can become a quiet disruptor. I remember Mr. Lionel, a soft-spoken gentleman in his early 70s. He often prepared a warm radish soup in the evenings, proud of his light, healthy meal. Yet he would wake up 2 to 3 times each night, needing to urinate, and increasingly, he experienced leg cramps, tingling in the feet, and a general sense of exhaustion by morning. The problem: that natural diuretic effect was stripping his body of vital electrolytes overnight. Not just fluids, but minerals like potassium, sodium, calcium, and magnesium. These minerals are critical for nerve and muscle function, especially in the legs. When they're flushed out too aggressively in the hours before sleep, the result is often twitching, tightness, or even a feeling of unease that wakes you before dawn. Additionally, white radish contains oxalates, the same compound found in spinach that can increase the risk of kidney stone formation, especially in individuals who don't drink enough water or already have impaired kidney function. And there's one more thing: the timing. At night, our kidneys naturally slow down, entering a more restorative phase. When we eat foods that stimulate kidney activity like daikon, it's like asking our kidneys to work overtime during their rest shift. Over the months and years, this gentle strain can quietly affect kidney performance. So what's the wiser path? If you enjoy white radish, have it at lunch when your metabolism and detox systems are more active. Keep the portion moderate and be sure to stay hydrated during the day, not just in the evening. And if you're prone to low blood pressure or take diuretics, it's even more important to balance radish with foods rich in electrolytes. The foods we choose at night should help the body wind down, not stir it back into motion. Gentle dinners allow for peaceful sleep and steady kidneys, two gifts we often overlook until they're gone. Part 6. Bamboo shoots natural but not always gentle on kidneys and joints. Bamboo shoots often come across as a symbol of purity, earthy, light, and straight from nature. In Asian cuisine, they bring texture and subtle flavor to stir-fries, soups, and stews. For many seniors trying to eat lighter or cut back on meat, bamboo shoots feel like a smart, wholesome choice. But I've learned through years of quiet conversations in my clinic that natural doesn't always mean harmless, especially when the body is aging. The kidneys are slowing, and the joints are speaking more loudly than they used to. Let's talk about what most people don't realize. Bamboo shoots contain a compound called cyanogenic glycoside, a natural plant chemical that, when improperly cooked, can release trace amounts of cyanide into the body. Now, in most cases, especially when properly boiled, the levels are too small to cause obvious harm. But for older adults with declining kidney function, even low levels of dietary toxins consumed regularly can slowly build up and place added pressure on the kidneys, whose job is already 24/7 filtration. I recall a patient named Mrs. Alma, 74, who loved bamboo stir-fried with mushrooms and garlic, but she often complained of stiff joints in the morning and a strange fatigue in her legs. After some gentle food journaling, we noticed a pattern. Her symptoms flared most after meals that included bamboo shoots, especially when they were canned or not boiled beforehand. Then there's the fiber factor. Bamboo shoots are very high in fiber, which is excellent for digestion when consumed in balance. But eaten late in the day, they can interfere with mineral absorption, especially magnesium and calcium, two minerals essential for muscle relaxation and joint health. When this balance is disrupted, it often shows up as cramps, stiffness, or restless legs during the night. Another subtle contributor: sodium. Bamboo dishes are often flavored with soy sauce, salt, or seasoning powder, which can quietly raise your sodium levels before bed, leading to fluid retention, swelling, and added burden on your kidneys. So, what's the safe approach if you enjoy bamboo shoots? Make sure they're well cooked, boiled for 20 to 30 minutes to reduce natural toxins. Avoid eating them at night and treat them as an occasional side rather than a nightly staple. Cook them gently with olive oil, garlic, and a squeeze of lemon instead of salt-heavy sauces. And always listen to your legs. If they speak to you after dinner with tightness or fatigue, it may be your body asking for a little more kindness and a little less hidden stress on your dinner plate. Part 7. A gentle reminder. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it. There's a quiet wisdom that comes with age one that doesn't just ask what we eat, but when. Over the years, I've come to realize that timing can be just as important as the food itself. For our kidneys, our muscles, and our sleep, a salad at noon may be a blessing. while the same salad at 8 p.m. might quietly become a burden. The truth is, your body isn't the same at night. After sunset, our metabolism slows, our kidneys shift into a more restful rhythm, and our muscles begin preparing for repair and renewal. This is the body's time to restore, not digest and filter heavily. When we eat foods rich in potassium, sodium, oxalates, or starch too late, we unintentionally interrupt that process. I once spoke with a couple both in their early 70s who had completely different nighttime habits. She preferred a light broth and fruit before bed. He often enjoyed heavier dishes, potatoes, stir-fried vegetables, and a banana for dessert. Interestingly, he suffered from restless sleep, heavy legs, and occasional cramping. She, on the other hand, slept soundly. Once they adjusted their dinner routines, bringing heavier foods earlier in the day and reserving the evening for lighter, hydrating, and soothing meals, he began sleeping through the night again. No pills, just timing. This isn't about guilt or rigid rules. It's about listening inward with care. Maybe your legs are trying to tell you something. Maybe your kidneys are working harder than they should. And maybe the simple act of shifting when you eat can give your body a chance to rest. Really rest. So what makes for a gentler evening meal? Think steamed vegetables, a little brown rice, a poached egg, or warm herbal tea. These kinds of meals ease your body into nighttime, and they give your kidneys, your heart, and your muscles the quiet they need. You don't need dramatic overhauls. Just consider this: if you love a certain food, maybe it deserves a place on your plate, just not after sunset. Because peace, comfort, and healing aren't found in what's removed, but in how gently we choose to care for ourselves each day. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with a simple truth. Healing doesn't always require something new. Sometimes it just asks us to look at the familiar with softer eyes. Tomatoes, potatoes, bananas, spinach, radish, bamboo shoots. None of these are enemies. They are whole, nourishing gifts of nature. But when eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or too often without thought, even gentle things can become heavy. Especially for bodies that have carried us through decades of life, hardship, love, and learning. You don't need to fear your food, you just need to understand it and understand yourself. Your kidneys, your legs, your sleep, they speak to you. In the stillness of the night, they whisper what the day drowns out. Fatigue, cramps, swelling, restlessness. These aren't random. They're quiet signals asking for a little less pressure, a little more care. So tonight, as you prepare your dinner, ask yourself, will this meal support my sleep? Is it kind to my kidneys? Will it lighten my body or weigh it down? These are not restrictions. They are invitations to feel lighter, to sleep deeper, to live with more ease, even in the later chapters of life. And if this video has helped you pause and reflect, I invite you to share it with someone you love. Comment below and let me know, what do you usually eat for dinner? I'd love to read your stories and continue this journey together. Because in the end, caring for your health is not about perfection, it's about presence. And every day, every meal, you have a new chance to choose peace. Until next time, rest gently, eat wisely, and remember, you deserve to feel well. Not just survive, but truly live.